building a canal through Panama.
The shortcut between the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans has been a dream for some time, ever since the arrival of the Spanish in the New World.
Although boats have existed since the Stone Age 3 million years ago, humans didn't begin using them to transport cargo until about 3000 BC. U.S. construction began in 1904, and $375 million was spent on its completion over the next 10 years. A colossal amount of money at the turn of the 20th century, equivalent to nearly $9 billion today. The work began not by digging, but instead by cleaning. Workers drained swamps, swept drainage ditches, paved roads, installed plumbing, and sprayed pesticides by the tonnage. Entire towns rose from the jungle, complete with housing, schools, churches, commissaries, and social halls. Engineers wisely knew that only a well-housed, well-fed, disease-free labor force could be expected to endure the long years of construction. At its height, the canal employed some 43,000 laborers making 10 cents an hour. The bulk of the workforce came from the islands of the Caribbean and the British West Indies. And yet, despite the improved working conditions, more than 5,000 men lost their lives, largely due to outbreaks of malaria as well as accidents. The digging commenced on a scale never before witnessed. Steam shovels scooped the earth, and railroad cars running continuously on a double track dumped upwards of 200 train loads of spoils a day. Enough earth and rubble was removed between Cologne and Balboa to bury Manhattan to a depth of 12 feet. At the beginning of construction, the canal's engineering changed from the French plan for a sea-level crossing to the more realistic Lake and Lock Canal. Workers dammed the mighty Chagres River to create Gatun Lake. Then they created 3 sets of locks: a 2-step flight at Miraflores and a single flight at Pedro Miguel lifts ships from the Pacific up to Lake Gatun. Then a triple flight at Gatun lowers them to the Atlantic side. All 3 sets of locks are paired. That is, there are 2 parallel flights of locks at each of the 3 lock sites. This, in principle, allows ships to pass in opposite directions simultaneously. However, large ships cannot cross safely, so instead they pass using both lanes of the locks in one direction at a time. In total, the locks raise vessels 85 feet above sea level from the Atlantic or Pacific Oceans to the water level of the lake. An average of 55 million gallons of fresh water is fed by gravity, and it takes about 8 minutes to fill each chamber. After sailing through the Continental Divide, vessels are again lowered to sea level on the opposite side. On August 15, 1914, a Panama Railway steamship made the first official transit of the canal and its complex system of dams and locks. Ships that were once forced to travel to the southernmost tip of South America cut 7,800 miles, or 12,500 kilometers, from their voyages. The Panama Canal was the greatest engineering project in the history of the world. Tolls for the canal are decided by the Panama Canal Authority and are based on the type of vessel, its size, and the cargo being carried. The current charge for container ships is roughly about $75 for every 20 feet and about $60 per 20 feet for passenger ships. The least expensive toll was 36 cents, charged to American adventurer Richard Halliburton, who swam the canal in 1928. The average toll is roughly $54,000. To date, nearly 1 million vessels have transited the waterway since it opened, about 40 each day and 14,000 every year, making it the most used canal on the planet.